Hi guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. So today I want to speak about, before I did this video, I did one about the questions you should ask yourself if you're in the dating process and you kind of figure out that this person that you're dating is someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. And so this is kind of like a follow-up to that video in terms of, so what I'm going to be addressing is, okay, so you've decided that you want to be in a relationship with this individual. How can you manage it so you don't go crazy, pretty much, right? Or if you're already married to this individual, how can you manage it so you don't go crazy? All right, so the first thing you have to recognize when you're in relationship with someone with this dismissive avoidant attachment style is that whatever they're doing has nothing to do with you. They're behaving from a place of fear most of the time, and fear of being hurt, right? So they do a lot of things that will protect them. And so a lot of the things that they do, most of the things they do is in a kind of a subconscious way to protect themselves from being hurt. Because as in childhood, they learned not to trust relationships. They learned not to trust relationships. So they're not bringing this kind of a behavior into their adult relationships. Unfortunately, there you are in relationship with this individual. And so if you're in a relationship and you're already married or in some really deep engaged, whatever it might be, I would say married, because even if you're engaged, you can decide what you want to do before that, right? So if you're in this, what you have decided, the bottom line is you decided you're going to stay in this relationship because you really love this person and you believe that they have some kind of potential to change. Hopefully you've seen some evidence of the change, because without some evidence of this person wanting to do better, they recognize that there are some issues that they have and they want to do better, it's going to be really difficult for you, right? But if you see that this person has some kind of a is demonstrating some evidence that they really know that they're messed up in some way from their whatever attachment style, then guys, and you decide you want to stick around and work with it through it with them, then there are some things that I believe that you can do to help to minimize the pain and frustration that you can feel in a relationship with someone with this attachment style. And remember, this is not only I'm speaking particularly for the dismissive avoidant now, but remember, any other attachment style except for the secure has their share of challenges. So if you're in a relationship with a anxious preoccupied, you're going to have some challenges, which I'm going to try to address as well as like I'm addressing this. If you're with a fearful avoidant, which is usually a combination of both, so you just have to pretty much take both the attachment style of the dismissive and the anxious and put it together, and that's what you have to deal with, right? But it's really any attachment style that is not secure is going to present some kind of a problem. And so I'm going to start with the dismissive avoidant attachment style. And if you decided, okay, I'm going to be brave, I'm going to be really try and make this work, and the person is showing me some kind of, giving me some indication that they know there's a problem and they're willing to work on it, then okay. So what you have to do, guys, is this. Recognize that this is not your stuff to deal with, meaning you can't fix this person, they have to fix themselves, right? And that however they're responding and presenting to you and the things that they're doing, don't take it personally. And I know that is so difficult not to take it personally, because sometimes you'll even see them out there connecting with other people and they're so nice to them and they do very, outside with strangers. And you wonder, so why do they treat me like this when they can treat a total stranger so nicely? Let me tell you why that is. With you, there is that emotional connection. and there's the fear of loss with you. With a total stranger, there is no emotional connection, so that they don't have that fear of that pain of loss or rejection or any kind of thing that might hurt them, any pain that they can't cause them any pain. So they treat strangers actually better than the people that they're close to, right? So which is very sad, but this is what you have to recognize. If you can recognize all these things, it will make the pain a little more, make a little bit more sense. What they do, not the pain, what they do make a little bit more sense. And so you can, if you are the person and you're more secure, because I believe that only secure people can do this. I think that only secure people can do this. If you're secure and you can manage it and understand that this is because they're working through some stuff themselves, then make sure you don't take it personally. Recognize it's about them and not you. Because, you know, and they're doing this because of their lack of trust of relationships. And so their behavior is going to be usually out of that fear of being hurt. The next thing, guys, is that, as you know, they like to disappear and go and just, especially when there's a something that's emotionally really challenging for them. They can't take emotion. They don't have that emotional depth to tolerate too much emotional stuff, right? So they will leave, or sometimes they will just leave when things are you think that you're getting very close, and all of a sudden they will just you know you're feeling really connected, and then it's too much for them, so they will leave. And so it's really a horrible place to be and feel. So if you can recognize that this is their stuff first to start out with, and the next thing you have to do is not chase, never chase. The more you chase someone with the dismissive avoidant attachment style, the longer they stay away, or they may even go away for good, right? Depending on the extent of the chase. So the first thing you need to know is never chase them. Never chase them. Let them know that, you know, it's hurtful when they do that, but don't chase them. Next thing you have to do is to let them have their space. Now I'm going to go back and say that this is only probably possible with the person who is secure, because especially the anxious, preoccupied, and sometimes the fearful avoidant, because when the fearful avoidant, although they have the two sides of them, if they're in relationship with someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style, they're going to act out from the position of an anxious, preoccupied individual, because they have both sides. And so they trigger the anxious, preoccupied part of that individual, right? So both of those individuals are going to have a hell of a time with this individual, dismissive avoidant. But if you are secure, then you're strong in your convictions and a sense of self, and so you don't have to go chasing after someone. You can let them go and let them come back when they want. You have that ability, and that's why I always say, guys, work on yourself first. So when they leave and disappear and do whatever they're doing, let them go. Never chase them. What you need to do in preparation for this, though, guys, is always have something that you can go and do yourself. Never ever put your whole life into your relationship with this person, because you'll always feel deprived. You'll always be miserable, because they're not putting their whole thing into your life. It's not going to happen. So you need to have a life outside of them, right? And that's why I say the anxious preoccupied is going to have a warm time with this if they choose to stay with this individual, because the anxious preoccupied has a tendency to put their whole life on hold and just revolve around this individual, which makes it worse, because they feel that like almost claustrophobic when this person does that, and they want to run, and which triggers the anxious preoccupied again, and the anxious preoccupied. So it's a back and forth when it's somebody, when this is happening with someone who's not secure in themselves. So the secure individual is quite fine to have their own hobbies, their own friends, their family members, things they do with their family members, so that it's easy for them to let this person go, take their space, and do something for yourself. You could do something with your friends. You can do something maybe do some hobby that you normally take that you practice. Maybe you want to go, whatever it is you do, right? But always have your own life. With this individual, you have to have your own life so that when they do what they're doing, you can go. And also, even when they don't do what they're doing, it's good for you to go and have a life of your own. Especially if it's not something that you plan, to go out and do something with your friends. Go out and take time for yourself, right? Because then they don't feel that pressure of having you around all the time. Now, if you're someone who's, as I say, the anxious preoccupied, you need that connection. You need that because you haven't learned to self-soothe. And so if you haven't learned to self-soothe, you're going to be looking for him or her to soothe you and make you feel good. And that is where all hell will break loose, because they're going to run and then you are going to feel like nothing, all right? So the next thing you have to do when you're with someone like this, and as I say, is probably going to be only with the secure individual who can do this, is when they, say for example, they're working on themselves and, they come back and they kind of like try to apologize, or they try to really stick through a conversation that's really emotional or difficult, that you normally know is difficult for them. Always reinforce the positive things that they're doing. So reinforce the positive behavior. Yeah, I know it sounds like, oh, it's like dealing with a child. Yeah, I know it's kind of like thing there, but even with a relationship, any relationship you're in, you should reinforce instead of, because a lot of people have the tendency to always notice the bad behaviors that their partners do, but they never reinforce or kind of say thank you for doing this good thing, right? So in this way too, they actually need it more, because they need that reinforcement, because it's with that reinforcement that they will feel more comfortable to come back next time to maybe be vulnerable with you, all right? So it creates, that reinforcement really creates that space for them to want to come back and be with you when they feel like running away, all right? Because they feel that it's safe. And remember, they don't trust relationships. So when they begin to feel that it's safe to, say certain things to you, and you're not going to tease them or criticize them or shame them, then they are more willing to come back and do that with you. No, the anxious preoccupied is not going to, if you're not healed, you will probably shame them or criticize them, and makes it even worse. All right, guys? So the next thing you have to not do, don't do this, don't get emotional, right? You have to be able to manage your emotions when you're dealing with someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. So all the shouting and the ranting and the raving, which is not good for any relationship really, but specifically with the person who is dismissive avoidant, that is just going to be the clicker to just chase them away, because they cannot take all that anxiety from all that type of emotional outbursts. So anytime you have something to say to them, you have to really control yourself. And as I said, only the secure person can probably do this, because they can now maintain that self-control and say it in a calm way, and in a way that is not going to be like threatening to the person, because they don't like to be threatened either, right? Nobody likes to be threatened, but specifically the the dismissive avoidant, you threaten them, they're gone, all right? So, so you have to also make sure that you're calm and your voice, and you're clear about what you want to say, and not expect them to know what you're feeling. So you're calm and you're clear, and you're relating all of this in a calm, clear manner to them, right? So that and not like in a threatening and argumentative way. You have to be really mature in your growth and be really secure in who you are to be able to accomplish this. So guys, as I mentioned earlier, always make sure that you keep your relationships. As I say, the anxious preoccupied will, has a tendency to put the people that they're dating on a pedestal, so it's like nobody else exists. Once they meet this person that they're infatuated with, it's like everybody else is in the back burner of their mind. They can't remember who they are. They don't keep in touch with their friends or their family members. everything is, the world revolves around this person, and this can be very frightening and threatening to someone with a dismissive avoidance. So always make sure that you have other activities and other people that you can spend time with if you are going to want to work on your relationship with someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. So guys, I hope you learned something from this, and if you've learned something and something that you want to share with some, please share it with a friend. But also please like this video, because it does help my my channel, and also subscribe, because every time I upload something, you will be notified if you're subscribed to this channel. All right guys, I hope that helps in some way to kind of give you some idea of what to do if you're in relationship, or if you want to work on a relationship with someone with this attachment style. Again, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. In the meantime, guys, please continue to grow. Bye-bye.